Hey loves, this is Purple Pill Perspectives, and I'm here to bring some unfortunate news for those who have not been informed or been in the loop of just what's going on YouTube when it comes down to Kevin Samuels. This came as a shock to me, mainly because I feel like me, along with everyone else, we did not see this coming, and I feel like it's an ultimate loss. And I happened to find out, I believe, yesterday. And this was already at the point where I guess people were on Twitter and they were like, praising his death and things like that. And I'll say this. There's a lot of people out there that have done some crazy things in their life, and people may feel that way after their passing. He wasn't always right. Yes, he was a bit arrogant. But I will say, from my perspective, he helped a lot of people. A lot of marriages were fixed. A lot of realities were, brought to light. And I feel like everyone in this space deserves to be heard. I don't feel like the conversation between man and woman, our relationships, our society, our the Black community, or just the community in general, I don't feel like it should be one-sided. And it, just as much as there is this level of distaste when it comes to, well, all men are like this and all men are like that. We hear that every day. Well, this was a chance for a man to express himself, what he's experienced, what he's seen. And we see so much of that, and it's not yet attacked. But I will say, when it comes down to hearing the men say it, it may be uncomfortable. It may sometimes be coming from a place of hurt, but that perspective still deserves to be shared because it is part of the bigger conversation. It is part of a conversation that gets pushed under the rug day by day. Right now, we're going through a crisis where there is mass suicide when it comes to men and their emotions and things that goes on with them. And it's because they are raised in this world where people they can't just feel like everyone else, because you have to be strong, you have to be a man, and you can't be too emotional, you can't be this. And there's a lot of men that are very trusting when it comes to relationships, that are very open when it comes to relationships, and they're not always treated correctly. And part of the main thing that I've seen with Kevin Samuels is when he began to speak, he didn't just speak for women that are looking to get married and not understanding why. He was also speaking for the everyday, person. Not always the high value men, but I watched him encourage women just to say, hey, if this man is being good to you and everything like that, he may not be a high value man, but he might be the man for you. And sometimes those men are overlooked. So that was just one form of advocacy. And I'll even speak on my own story. When I first started watching Kevin Samuels, I came from a place where I wanted male guidance on the topic of relationships. And I could say that in the love department, I had my relationships. They had their up and downs. I had, they last pretty long, maybe about 3 years each. But it was always at this standstill or always this disconnect. And I was wondering, you know what? I really apply myself. I am loyal. I'm this, I'm that. I'm not understanding why my relationships are not working. And it wasn't until I came across Kevin Samuel where I had to face some really harsh truths. And I really evaluated myself. And I could sit here and say, you know what? He was wrong. He said this, he said that. Well, everything that people say, sometimes you got to take it with a grain of salt. You can't just hang on to every single word. But I'm one of those people that I feel like, even, for the people that know the Bible, I feel like you can get knowledge even out of the ass's mouth, and that is, of reference to, a Bible parable. But to say, like, even a fool, you can, if you have ears to hear, they might, still you can still learn something from them. And I'm not calling him a fool, but I wish people would understand what he did for the community is more than what he took from the community. And it was just a lot of uncomfortable truths that even I had to face myself. And I was like, wow, I never looked at it that way. And you know why? Because when you grow up as a woman, and sometimes in some areas, you grow up in a way where people, they mainly tell you how to be a woman, how to cross your legs, how to cook, how to clean, things like this. But they never teach you how to carry yourself with a man. As far as, like when things come to career and this or what a man expects and all these other things. And there's a lot of things for people that grew up on Disney, on romance videos, on things like that. You create this illusion in your head and this delusion in your head that is how love is supposed to be. So when we see Cinderella coming from the poor, marrying a prince, and yeah, it's possible, but all those people that were getting married in movies were just like these high value people. And that's not the everyday norm. And when it comes to the expectations, a lot of women are not willing to bring to the table what they're asking. Do you have to have $50 million? No, but it's the mindset. And there is a lot of arrogance in the I wouldn't call it the feminine community, but just in the world of women. There's a lot of arrogance. There's a lot of entitlement. There's men, they don't understand how hard men work. And when a man really likes you, how hard what he does to impress you. So when you come to the table and you're just demanding things, well, I deserve this and I deserve that. And you know what, like, if you're not going to do this, then I'm not going to do that. And all this other stuff is just like, wait a minute, Can we get to the point where we're human beings? Can you look at the other person like they're a human being and not just look at him as a bank? Not just look at him as a bodyguard, not just look at him as, a person that's just supposed to handle all your problems. And if so, like, if a man is out there providing, protecting, and guiding, to be grateful for that and show gratefulness for that. So with that, there was a lot of topics on appearance. There was a lot of topics on things where, women, well, I want a man to look like this. And there's so many men that go overlooked for the same standards that they meet. If, this man is what we would call unattractive or not the desired weight or things like that, or he's short, then it's like, oh, well, I don't like those type of men. But then as soon as someone says, hey, well, be sure you can match, like, be real with yourself. Are you keeping up with your appearance the way you expect a man to approach you? Like, what are you doing? And then on top of that, it's just like, what priority are you making to have a relationship? If a man is supposed to come in your life and a man is supposed to provide and protect and do all these things, all this, I'm not going to deal with this, I'm independent, I don't need, well, then why is he there? So these are just amongst a lot of things that really help open my eyes, even to my toxic traits, the delusions I grew up on or that was passed down to me. And I really had to sit and think. And I can honestly say that my outcome in relationships changed tremendously. So you can say what you want about this guy, but I feel like he left behind a legacy. He started a conversation. And on top of that, it's like, sometimes we need that tough love, Everyone wants to sugarcoat things nowadays. People are so afraid to say things because of cancel culture and things like that. But when it comes down to it, you got to think, how are you going to be able to improve if everyone's just kissing each other's ass? How are you going to be able to improve if you're doing things that, if you're out with your friends and you see like why her relationships are not working, at what point are you going to be like, sis, let me sit down and talk to you? You may be the problem, and if you want a healthy relationship, maybe this is what you should do. A lot of people are not real like that with you. And yes, he was blunt. Yes, he had his own personal opinions outside of the message that he was sending. But can we acknowledge what he left behind? Can we acknowledge the conversation that he started? Can we acknowledge the marriages that he helped? Can we acknowledge the people that he helped? If you learn to have a non-biased opinion and just take truth for what it is and leave behind whatever is not true, so all that die alone stuff, I admit there's a lot of things he said that I didn't agree with, but the level of growth that I was able to take from the things he was teaching, I can't sit here and ignore that. So I want to say condolences to his family, his loved ones. Very, very influential. It was a while where I didn't see anyone online speaking like him. And I've been in different realms where I've seen the whole femininity wave. I've seen the whole red pill rave, the whole, the He-Man woman hating club rave. And I would say this, it's like with all those things, he seemed the most grounded. And at least he was willing to help. And when they came on his show, he showed them how to be respectful, It's the same thing you expect in a conversation. Don't cut somebody off when they're talking. If someone invites you to their space, invites you to this, respect their space. And they're gonna help you, but don't get beside yourself. And I think that attitude and the way he did it, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he was completely innocent, but it is someone worth saying that they actually did try to do something for the community. He didn't just tear Black women down. Like, I don't feel that way, because there was a lot of Black women on the show that he actually helped. He didn't just speak about one race of women. He spoke about a lot of race of women. Like, so with that, it's like, I think we're paying attention to more of the negative than the positive. But let me ask you a question. You can say what you want about Kevin Samuels. You can say, oh, haha, he died alone. He said everyone's going to die alone. Haven't you said some foolish things in your life? Haven't you been arrogant before? Haven't you been egotistical before? But have there been instances where you actually tried to make a difference? What have you done to change something in the community? What have you done to mend the marriage rate in the African American or just Black community in general? What are you doing to be a part of the conversation? Are you just becoming the problem or ignoring the problem? Or are you trying to do something about it? And I feel like that's admirable. And that alone, regardless if you like him or not, is to demand respect for his passing. Keep in mind, there was a lot of people that felt a lot of ways. So for those that was out there that got offended by the things he said, and I'm not going to gaslight you and say that you're wrong and it's all in your head. He's not for the weak. I will say that. He's very blunt. He's very straightforward. He's very opinionated. And he said what he felt. For those who have felt those ways, look back and evaluate. Be able to forgive and move on. To laugh at someone dying and passing doesn't do anything but show your IQ level and your frequency and everything going on with you. Because if you were to look down on a person for doing wrong, if you were to look down on a person for coming at people wrong, what makes you a better person to sit there and laugh at someone when their family is mourning? When people, even on this platform that were very close to him, like MTR and O'Shea, is mourning a close friend, for people who he actually helped. So it's just like, if you feel some type of way about it, I would genuinely say, in that sense, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And if you do have something to say, open your mouth and speak. Show us you can do any better, And maybe this is a little spicy for one of my first long videos for Purple Pill Perspectives. But quite frankly, if I can speak my mind, I am tired of people criticizing the conversation and not even doing anything to be a part of the conversation. You are the problem, not the solution. What are you going to do to fix it? If not, why are you judging people from your couch? Yeah. Once again, I pay condolences to his family. This man, I do feel that he left a legacy. He was brave to say a lot of things that a lot of people won't say on a public platform. And moving forward, I hope that this brings about a change in the conversation and more people willing to share their point of view.
Yes, I want to see black men and black women together, but I want to see black women valuing black men as black men deserve to be valued. Black men, you are worthy. You have done great things in the last 20 or 30 years. You've taken your image back from cops, deadbeat dads, and everything else. You stepped up to the challenge, and this is your time. This is your time. The gender war is over. Average at best happened in 2021. That is over. 2022, we're going into it. Self-awareness is sexy. Men are going to show the work, and women are going to show their worth. We're going to move forward. We're going to move forward, and if you want to move forward together with us, men are there waiting for you. Men are there working for you, but you're going to earn your spot because he has to earn his value.